I want to tell you about a pattern in World Cup football so consistent, so ruthless, and so statistically improbable that analysts have stopped calling it a coincidence and started calling it a curse. Because in the last 6 World Cups, 4 of the 5 defending champions were eliminated before the knockout rounds even began, not beaten in a final, not knocked out in the quarterfinals, eliminated in the group stage, alongside the minnows and the debutantes, packed off home while teams they had already beaten in previous tournaments marched on without them. And in 2026, at this World Cup, the defending champions are Argentina. And the question this tournament is now trying to answer is whether Lionel Messi's team can do what nobody has done since 1962. Before we go through every victim, let us establish the full scale of what we are talking about, because only 2 nations in the history of the World Cup have ever successfully defended the title. Italy, who won back-to-back in 1934 and 1938 under the legendary coach Vittorio Pozzo, and Brazil, who won in 1958 with Pelé as a 17-year-old and then retained the trophy in Chile in 1962 with Pelé watching from the stands injured after the group stage. And since Brazil in 1962, 64 years have passed, 12 World Cups have been played, and not a single defending champion has managed to win it again. 12 tournaments, 12 failures, across 6 decades of trying. Victim 1, France 2002. France arrived in South Korea and Japan in 2002 as the world's #1 ranked team, the reigning World Cup champions from 1998 and the reigning European champions from 2000. Zinedine Zidane, Thierry Henry, Patrick Vieira, a squad considered untouchable, and the tournament had barely begun before the curse arrived. They lost their opening match to Senegal, who were playing their first ever World Cup game. They then drew with Uruguay and lost to Denmark. And France, the most decorated international team of their generation, were eliminated from the 2002 World Cup, having scored not a single goal in 3 matches. 0, not even 1. While Senegal, who beat them in the first game, marched on to the quarterfinals. Victim 2, Italy 2010. Italy won the 2006 World Cup in Germany with one of the most defensively complete performances the tournament had seen in years, then arrived in South Africa in 2010 and did not win a single game. They drew with Paraguay in the first match, drew with New Zealand in the second, New Zealand, a team ranked 78 in the world, and then lost to Slovakia in the third, a team who had never before qualified for a World Cup. And Italy went home having finished bottom of a group that contained no team ranked inside the top 25. The curse did not just eliminate Italy, it humiliated them, and it did it against the opponents it was least excusable to drop points against. Victim 3, Spain 2014. And then Spain, because Spain going into the 2014 World Cup in Brazil was not just a defending champion, they were the most dominant international team in the history of football at that point. 2008 Euro, World Cup 2010, Euro 2012. 3 consecutive major tournament wins, the greatest run by any nation in the modern era. Xavi, Iniesta, Casillas, Villa, a tiki-taka system that had hypnotized the world for 6 years. And in the first game of the 2014 group stage, against the Netherlands and Salvador, Spain conceded 5 goals from a team they had beaten in the 2010 final. And Van Persie's flying header and Robben's 2 goals dismantled not just a match, but an entire era. Spain never recovered, lost to Chile, and went home having scored 4 goals in 3 games against a goal difference of -5. The empire ended in one afternoon. Victim 4, Germany 2018. And then Germany, the team that had just produced one of the most dominant World Cup final campaigns ever seen, including the 7-1 semi-final humiliation of Brazil at the Mineiro, arrived in Russia in 2018 with a draw that should have been routine. Mexico, Sweden, South Korea, and lost to Mexico in the first game, then needed Toni Kroos's last-minute free kick against Sweden to stay alive. And then, needing only to beat a South Korea side already eliminated from the tournament, conceded twice in stoppage time to lose 2-0 and go home. Germany had not been eliminated in the group stage of a World Cup since 1938, 80 years without that humiliation, and the curse ended it on a Tuesday in Kazan against a team that had nothing left to play for. But I need to give you the one exception in the modern era, because Brazil in 2006, defending the title they won in 2002, did survive the group stage. They made it to the quarterfinals, where they lost to France, the country the curse had already eliminated 4 years earlier, and Ronaldo, with his 8th career World Cup goal in that tournament, briefly looked like Brazil might break through. But they didn't, and the wider pattern holds. Since 1966, only one defending champion has made it past the quarterfinals, and Brazil in 2006 were eliminated before the semifinals. The curse allows the occasional late survival, but has never, in the modern era, allowed the ultimate prize. And now we have to ask the most interesting question: why does this keep happening? Because the teams involved are not weak teams going into these tournaments. France in 2002 were number 1 in the world. Spain in 2014 were the best team of their generation. So the explanations require more thought than simply saying the quality dropped. And what analysts and coaches have consistently identified are 3 interconnected reasons. First, every opponent you play knows that beating the champions is the greatest motivation in the game, and they come at you harder than they come at anyone else. Second, the mental weight of defending what you have already won is a different and heavier burden than the hunger of trying to win it for the first time. And third, the 4-year gap between tournaments means the squad that won has aged and football has evolved around them. Let me go deeper on the psychology, because the year after a World Cup triumph is, by almost every measure, the most difficult period a football team can navigate. The key players are distributed across clubs that now treat them as global stars and demand more from them commercially and athletically. The national manager faces a question he cannot answer until the tournament itself begins, which is whether his players still want it as badly as they did before they won it. And the players themselves carry something that is genuinely difficult to describe, which is the knowledge of what winning feels like, and the awareness that what they are trying to protect is in many ways harder to protect than it was to achieve, because the whole world now knows exactly what you look like at your best, and they have had 4 years to prepare for it. And then there is Argentina in 2026, and on June 16th, their opening game against Algeria at Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City. The defending champions gave the most emphatic possible response to every curse narrative that had been building around them, because Lionel Messi scored a hat trick, the first hat trick ever scored by a defending World Cup champion in a tournament game. And Argentina won 3-0. And in doing so, Messi also equaled Miroslav Klose's all-time record of 16 World Cup goals, becoming the joint highest scorer in the tournament's history. First game, hat trick, world record equaled 3-0. The curse was not just challenged on June 16th, it was told to sit down. And there are genuine structural reasons to believe Argentina are different from the 4 teams the curse has already claimed, because the squad Lionel Scaloni has assembled for 2026 is largely the same squad that won in 2022, which means the team chemistry, the tactical understanding, and the tournament experience are all still intact. Scaloni himself is the continuity, the same manager, the same system, the same relentless defensive discipline that won them the Copa America 2021, the Finalissima 2022, and the World Cup 2022, 3 consecutive major trophies, which is a run that no team has matched in the modern era. And beneath Messi, a generation of players in Lautaro Martinez, Julian Alvarez, and Enzo Fernandez who are now in the prime years of their careers, not aging out of them. And the 2026 World Cup has introduced a structural change that genuinely alters the curse's mechanics. Because the expanded 48-team format means 32 of the 48 teams now advance from the group stage. And that means a defending champion would have to finish bottom of their group or finish third with one of the worst 4 third-place records across all 12 groups to actually go home early. Run France 2002, Italy 2010, and Germany 2018 through the new rules, and all 3 would still be eliminated because they finished bottom of their groups. But Spain in 2014, who finished third, might have survived. The format does not protect teams from themselves, but it does widen the door, and Argentina walked through it on match day 1 with a hat trick. But here is the thing I want to leave you with. Because Argentina getting out of the group stage does not mean the curse is broken. It means the curse has moved. Because what the curse has always been about is not the group stage specifically. It is the weight of expectation, the difficulty of motivation, the way opponents raise themselves for the champions, and all of those forces do not disappear after match day 1. They intensify as the tournament deepens. And if Argentina face France or Spain or Germany in the knockout rounds, those opponents will have one more reason than any other to end the defending champions tournament. The curse is not dead. It has simply put on different clothes, and it is waiting somewhere between the round of 32 and the final in New Jersey.